Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to the LEOSA Reform Act. This bill threatens the safety of all Americans by advancing the Republican agenda of more guns for more people in more public places. In 2004, Congress enacted the Law Enforcement Officers Safety Act, or LEOSA, which forced states to allow off-duty and retired law enforcement officers to carry concealed weapons, even when doing so conflicted with that state's concealed carry laws. It garnered bipartisan opposition, including from the Republican chairman of the Judiciary Committee at the time, Mr. Sensenbrenner, because it supplanted the judgment of the states about the appropriate use of firearms. It was also opposed by organizations such as the International Chiefs of Police, which was concerned that it could endanger law enforcement by causing confusion among local police who might not be able to distinguish between a criminal and a retired officer using a firearm. Other organizations opposed it because it could put police agencies at risk for liability for an officer who misuses a weapon in another state, and because the requirements for retired officers were insufficient. Despite these objections, LEOSA became law. But importantly, it included exceptions for places like government buildings, gun-free school zones, and private property, where states have a special interest in retaining control of their gun safety laws. These exceptions have been in place for 20 years and have served as important protections. But this legislation tosses those exceptions out the window. It forces states to allow off-duty and retired officers to carry firearms on playgrounds, in government buildings, and on buses, trains, subways, and boats. It undermines state laws limiting magazine capacity. It reduces the rights of private property owners who may not want concealed weapons on their property or in their businesses. And it relaxes training standards so that some people will be able to carry a concealed firearm even though it has been 3 years since their last firearms training certification. In addition, this legislation unravels federal laws that have kept firearms out of federal facilities. It does this for federal facilities that are, quote, open to the public, and that are classified as, quote, facility security level 1 or 2, definitions that will create considerable significant confusion for those trying to abide by it and for those tasked with enforcing it. For example, if a federal facility is only partially open to the public or only open to the public during certain hours, does it fall within the bill's definition? We don't know. What about a facility that is open to the public so long as they are not carrying firearms? The bill does not say. And as the bill itself states, the facility security level is determined on a facility-by-facility basis and may not be publicly posted. So it is virtually impossible to know what federal facilities are included in this definition. We looked for a listing of federal facilities that are classified at these security levels, and we could not find one. Members may even have offices in federal facilities that will suddenly be forced to allow concealed firearms in their doors as a result of this legislation. Not only would this bill inject confusion into federal law, but it also intrudes onto private property rights and undermines states' careful determinations on how best to protect their citizens from gun violence. I urge members to join me in opposing this misguided legislation, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Alabama.